to hand the floor over to the Regional Minister for Social Affairs. Good morning. For me, it is an honor and a privilege to be here with all of you. This hard situation has changed our ways of living, of relating to others, and of doing things. And organizing seminars like this one is a step forward on the path that we have to cover together. And I think that, yes, the situation is difficult, but holding events like these and making use of new technologies that allow us to get together, yet virtually, is extremely important. And the speakers switching to Basque again. I'm very sorry, but there's no translation from Basque. Now English.
2020 urtea erabat ezberdina da pertsona guztiontzat. Pandemiak arlo guztiak eragin ditu eta guk moldatzen jakin behar izan dugu. Gure eguneroko ohiturak aldatu behar izan ditugu eta gure proiektuak ere erabat ezberdinak dira gaur. Nuestro panorama negativo.
Our landscape has nothing to do with the beginning of the year. We didn't know what awaited us, so we've had to set up different measures without an instructions guide. And we didn't know what to do, how to do it, and there was a great deal of uncertainty. Right now, we have new routines, new habits, and each one of us have had to adapt. But this is nothing new. We had to adapt and respond to new needs, and also from institutions. Juan made a reflection, and he also, and I'd like to thank him for his words when thanking us regarding our cooperation in order to tackle and address the needs of the most vulnerable groups who, as a result of the pandemic, saw their problems worsen. New problems and other existing problems had become worse. And knowing what to do is important. Work in coordination with institutions and the third sector, but it's also important to see how to do this. And as I see things, there are two important lessons we've drawn from this pandemic. First of all, coordination is essential in order to be able to tackle problems. Nobody has a magic solution, and therefore we all need to share in order to keep on making progress and counting on the rest and prioritizing different situations, some in the short term that we dealt with urgently. As Juan said, from the government, we increased social economic aid. We created a fund in order to take care of these needs that had cropped up and had become more acute. And we also took into account the groups that were being most affected by the pandemic, among which we see the elderly. And there's a group we were extremely concerned with right from the start. So we tried to come up with solutions, accompanying them with volunteer workers, with volunteers in order to take care of different sides of the crisis. And the president also speaks about an emotional crisis, something that we were not able to see, but which we are suffering. In any case, we know that something is happening, and we are trying to devote resources in order to take care of these very tough situations, this non-desired loneliness situations. So we've worked very closely together, and this is something we should be proud of. As I was saying, we've had to adapt in order to respond to all these needs, and this is something we've had to do from different institutions. Today, you're going to be able to address all this, and I'm convinced that this seminar will result in wonderful ideas for best practices that can be applied elsewhere.
So this is the objective we've set for this seminar, because whatever we do and whatever we share, I'm sure that the solutions will be very enriching. And I know that our colleagues or neighboring regions or neighboring countries, things that they implement, I'm sure that they will be able to help us, because at the end of the day, we all share goals. And being age-friendly is not an exotic issue, because we didn't set out from scratch, because the Basque institutions had already been focused on providing the space that you people require, that you elderly people require. But the network has been here to boost it. But our network has more than 66 municipalities, as Vanessa pointed out, with a very solid track record. And in recent years, there have been many initiatives that have cropped up and which have been implemented in order to try to make our districts and our neighborhoods much more age-friendly. She's now speaking in Basque, I'm afraid, for which there's no translation, so we'll have to wait until she goes back into Spanish again. And it's necessary for us to take this into consideration due to several reasons. But above all, and the most important thing, because it's fair, and because we cannot forget that in 10 years, more than half of the Basque population will be over 55. And in this particular context, each municipality or each town or each city is going to deal with a number of elements that have to be dealt with properly, and we'll see how other best practices have been implemented in other places, and that's going to be very helpful. And this is the goal of this seminar. And we want to compare our reality with the realities of other places, and we want to copy the best practices which we believe can be replicated. We can learn and we can adapt these projects, and that is going to be very helpful for this, but without becoming self-complacent. We also have to be aware of the fact that here at home, we already have projects and initiatives that I do believe deserve to be recognized. And this is why we have the award to best practices and age friendliness, which this year is going to be given to a project in Vitoria. So congratulations. And congratulations to all of the municipalities that are involved in this project with your best practices. And I want to encourage town councils to carry on working in the field of social innovation. And I would like to encourage you to increase these initiatives that are going to engage older people in public policies. Because I believe that if we take into account the views of the people that are going to be receiving the project, and the views of those that are suffering these problems, I think that whatever project we institutions will implement is going to be much richer, and it's going to be much better focused, and it's going to be shared by more people. But we also have to establish objectives, and I know that with these objectives, it's going to be much more efficient. And our association is one of the most powerful networks of the world. As I said, there are 66 municipalities involved, but they are different-sized municipalities with different realities. And this diversity is really positive for our work. Together, we share the vision of building cities and communities that are adapted to older people, and this is one of the political takes that is working very well. And at the Basque government, we are convinced that this is working, and I'm coming to the end of my presentation. On the age-friendly program, it's older people, it's you people, you men and women, who are the protagonists of a generation process that is going to have positive repercussions for your daily lives. That means that we're going to have a much more rational recovery of public spaces and a much better relationship between citizens. So, in other words, it's all of these little things that make our daily lives in cities or in towns be much more humane and much more satisfactory for everybody. And this also has a repercussion on older people, but it also affects the rest of our citizens. It's now Basque again. Well, I hope and trust that this will be a productive seminar. Let's hope that we'll learn from many other experiences, because we have lots of things to teach and to share. But as I said before, if what we do is very important, what is equally important is how we do things. And I think that seminars like the one we're about to hold today will help us do things a little bit better. Thank you very much.
Eskerrik asko baita